It is both an emotional subject and a highly contentious one, euthanasia at our animal shelters. The ASPCA reports that every year approximately 7.6 million animals come into shelters nationwide, and a little more than half make it out alive. There are numerous humane reasons for it, but it's euthanizing healthy animals just to make room for more that really shakes the animal-loving community. So I sought to find out how it all works, and I found many differing philosophies and reasons things are the way they are. Tonight we begin an in-depth look at what's happening in our shelters. On any given week,
I'm doing this probably for a little over a year.
You'll find Bev Wisser and usually her husband driving down a highway.
Maybe 1,000 miles a month.
Driving toward this.
If it's a dog or a cat, it doesn't matter. They're all worth saving.
On this trip, the rendezvous is in Troutville, where she'll pick up a load from a couple of ladies who work tirelessly to pull animals from a high-kill shelter in southwestern Virginia.
Hello! How are you?
There you go, darling.
Yeah, we're going to try to get these two out first. Come here, babies. Come on.
Barbara Kukluk has been pulling the animals for the last 2 years.
The first year it was over 1,000 dogs, and I know we're up to close to 2,000, if not more now in 2 years.
But sadly, that's just a drop in the bucket.
Just scared. They don't know what's going to happen.
In Virginia last year, out of 224,368 dogs and cats that came into shelters, 44,218 were euthanized for various reasons, including, among other things, health issues, aggression issues, and, sadly, space.
When you coming to pick her up?
Benny David is the animal control officer for Campbell County. In 2015, nearly half of Campbell County's dogs and cats were euthanized. How often do you have to euthanize just for space?
I don't think we do it for space. We try to keep some open runs all the time, but and a lot of people were making comments. I've seen comments about they weren't full. Well, how would you operate if you stayed full? What would you do every time somebody come in with an animal? Oh, let me go make room. Well, then you're doing it for space.
David points out there is a big difference between rescue organizations and public shelters like his, run by the county, there to serve the taxpayers.
Now, if you're a humane society, your primary goal is loving and taking care of animals. I feel my primary goal is serving the public, the citizens of Campbell County.
Still, he says he works very closely with rescue groups like Friends of Campbell County Animal Control, who pull as many animals as they can, work with the animals to make them more adoptable, and fund all the medical costs they can cover.
This is Kitty Corner.
At the Danville Humane Society, it's a similar yet different story.
We get in over 4,000 animals a year.
Paulette Dean is the executive director, but also has the contract to run the city pound.
I'm the kind that I will let flies out of my house rather than killing them.
Her love of animals is unquestioned, but the shelter euthanized 78% of the dogs and cats that came in last year, again, for a wide variety of reasons. Dean explains they are an open admission shelter. They don't turn any animal away, and even take in large amounts of animals from other jurisdictions. She says the numbers don't give you the full story.
Yesterday, we euthanized a dog for some people who were sobbing. 14-year-old dachshund who had bladder stones, needed $1,000 worth of surgery. They couldn't afford it. And so that dog becomes a number on our reports.
Dean also sees the animal world through a different lens. She's a humane investigator. She has seen some horrible things and believes in some cases putting animals down is more humane than the other possibilities out there.
Once an animal comes through our doors, their troubles need to be over. And that means they have to be free from ever being hungry again, or cold in the winter, or hot in the summer, and thirsty ever again. And sometimes tragically, in this world today, that means being secure from a painful, horrible death.
She stands by their methodology and often has to make very difficult decisions.
No one takes euthanasia lightly. If they do, they don't belong in the field.
Bev Wisser's load of animals came here to the Lynchburg Humane Society, which became a no-kill shelter in 2009. Last year, 94% of all cats and dogs left Lynchburg's shelter alive. That sounds great, right? Well, I learned the no-kill movement has quite a few critics and has created some fierce division in the animal welfare community. We're going to take a closer look at that at 7.
Most animal lovers hate to hear about healthy, adoptable animals having to be put down simply to make space in the shelter. But in Lynchburg, that's not an option. Noreen Turyn joins us now with part 2 of her in-depth report on euthanasia in shelters, The Bitter End.
Danner, last year, 94% of all cats and dogs that came into Lynchburg's shelter left there alive. The shelter has the highest live release rate in our whole region. So why don't all of them become no-kill? Well, I found out the no-kill movement has a good share of critics.
Come on, Charlie.
Sana Bartley spends every day in the Amherst County shelter.
See babies?
As shelter manager, she works with the animals to make them more adoptable. She learns their personalities. She forms bonds. Who here are you most attached to right now?
Charlie, that one.
So you can imagine, when her shelter gets full, the decisions she has to make are gut-wrenching. You just kind of have to go in and look, okay, this one's been here for...
Yeah.
Here, the Humane Society shares the building with the county pound, but they simply can't pull them all out.
I wish we could become no-kill, but I mean, I think we do pretty good.
The shelter's live release rate for cats and dogs last year was 57%.
Well, I think the first step is just making the decision not to euthanize animals for the mere reasons that there's no space for them.
McKenna Yarbrough is the executive director of the Lynchburg Humane Society. They also have the contract to run the city pound. In 2009, their board made the decision to become no-kill, which means a save rate of 90% or better. Last year, they euthanized only 5% of their cats and dogs, none of them for space.
We unfortunately have to euthanize for medical reasons. If a veterinarian doesn't feel that there's a positive outcome, then we will euthanize humanely. Or we euthanize dogs or fractious cats that cannot be safely placed if they have multiple issues.
Oh, come on, honey.
Yarbrough believes every shelter or pound has the ability to do it without having to spend much more money.
We were able to make significant changes pretty quickly by just engaging the community, setting up foster programs, setting up volunteer programs, taking away all the barriers for adoption, so it made it easier for people to take home pets.
But there is a lot of pushback to the no-kill movement.
I despise the no-kill. I just despise the no-kill movement. I hate them.
Campbell County Animal Control Officer Benny David, for one, doesn't feel like his shelter has that option as a county-run pound. He does work with rescue groups to move out as many animals as they can and says he does his best not to euthanize for space. He and others say the no-kill movement is pitting animal lovers against each other.
Any open admission shelter that euthanizes is vilified by public members who are tender-hearted and kind-hearted, and hallelujah, we're glad that they feel that way. But until you work at a shelter, you just cannot know what goes on.
Danville Humane Society Executive Director Paulette Dean believes sometimes it's worse for the animal to hold on to it.
That animal has been kept here for months and even over a year. Then at what point does that become inhumane?
Yarbrough says the average stay for dogs in Lynchburg is 17 days, 38 for cats. If they're getting full, they move pets out quickly through adoption specials and utilize fosters, even boarding facilities if they have to.
All of us would love to be no-kill, absolutely. And to get to the point where no shelter has to euthanize for space, and every animal with a medical problem can be healed, and every dog with a behavior problem can be rehabilitated. We deal in reality at a shelter, and that just doesn't happen.
It's a doable thing, and I don't understand why some of the county, city shelters across the country aren't at least asking questions on, or asking for help or suggestions on how they can start similar programs in order to save more lives in their shelter. I think that's better use of taxpayers' money than to be a place where animals just go to die.
Cats are euthanized at a higher rate than dogs in almost all of our shelters. One way Lynchburg has been able to avoid that is by supporting trap, neuter, return. But that, too, has some vehement critics. We're going to delve into that tonight at 11.
Cats are overwhelming area shelters, and there's quite a controversy over how to get a handle on it and cut down on euthanizing healthy, adoptable cats. ABC 13's Noreen Turyn has part 3 of her special report, The Bitter End.
Mark, of all cats brought into shelters, only 2 to 4% are reclaimed by their owners, which leaves shelters with an awful lot of unowned cats and an awful lot of choices to make. One way Lynchburg shelter is staying no-kill is by utilizing a method that has the animal welfare world polarized. They are overwhelming our area shelters. Cats are reproducing in vast numbers, and with limited space, many, and in some shelters, most, are losing their lives. Last year in Virginia, 30% of all cats brought into shelters were euthanized for various reasons, not just space. That compares to 11% for dogs. Nearly 40% came in as strays.
Hi, how can I help you?
We called a few minutes ago. We found this little guy on Route 29, Madison Heights.
Just during my interview at Amherst County's shelter, 2 people came in with cats. Last year, only 30% of cats left here alive.
Yeah.
It's a heavy load for shelter manager Sana Bartley to bear, since she has to perform the euthanasias.
I feel like cats never have a chance because there's so many.
In the state of Virginia, we don't have to take cats in, so why are we taking cats in just to kill them?
McKenna Yarbrough has worked to make Lynchburg's shelter no-kill. Last year, 91% of the cats made it out here alive. She says taking cats into shelters and euthanizing them hasn't fixed anything.
Catching and killing has been a tradition for over 2 decades, so it's time to try something different.
That something different is Trap, Neuter, Return, or TNR. Citizens trap however many feral cats they can and take them here to the South Central Spay Neuter Clinic, where they also get vaccinations. Then they're put back outside with their colonies.
They're not going to keep breeding. They'll maintain their right size to deal with the amount of food and home that they have, and they won't continue to grow.
But TNR has some vehement critics.
This is Camp Meow Meow.
In Danville, only 6% of the nearly 2,500 cats that came in last year left the shelter alive. Paulette Dean does feel humane euthanasia is a much better alternative to making the animals fend for themselves in harsh weather or uncertain conditions.
Just because the animal has been spayed or neutered doesn't mean that they won't still starve to death or be picked up by hawks or eaten by foxes or coyotes, killed by cars and mean people putting out poison.
There is a good feeling in doing it. I understand that. What I am looking at it from is the animal's point of view.
Matt Smith is executive director of the Humane Society for Campbell County. His organization has set up a cattery specifically to house and save as many cats as they can. But he too feels unwanted feral cats may be better off if they're put down.
Does this animal pass with a full belly? It's had water, it's warm. Or does this animal spend half a night trapped under a log before coyotes dig it out?
The information on TNR is conflicting. Alley Cat Allies points to studies that show most outdoor colony cats are living long, healthy lives. But groups like PETA claim their average lifespan is just 1 to 5 years.
They're surviving, so why are we taking them out of there just because we feel like it's not humane? When I think if you ask the cat, they prefer to stay where they are than to be killed.
In Lynchburg, many of the colonies do have people looking after them, and even those who oppose TNR tell me they don't mind it so much if people are taking responsibility for their well-being. But all of them hope this report sheds more light on the challenges they're up against and encourages more people to adopt from shelters, foster, donate, support, and most important, spay and neuter their animals. If you missed my earlier reports, you'll find all of it online at WSET.com, and I encourage you to read them because there's much more detail and links. Mark?
Right.